right, we got the stripped down motorhome. We're gonna pull a bunch more metal off of it. Right now I'm just trying to pull the wiring out nice and intact. I wanna keep the column, it's got cruise control, all that stuff. So I wanna do that. I already have this stuff loose. I'm gonna have to cut giant holes through the floor so I can kind of just feed it through there. I've got most of the front metal. That all had to be cut off by hand. So now I can see what I'm doing. I'm gonna get in there, I'm gonna pull the dash and stuff apart. I'd like to use the stock shifter, speedo, as much as I can. I wanna try to buy as little parts as I can. I wanna take my time and do this correctly and label everything. And hopefully have a good running setup without too much extra expense. All right, got most of the motorhome stripped off of here. That was way more work than I was expecting. You can see all the places I had to cut the brackets off of it. Got her pretty much stripped down. Now I've got to deal with this. This is where the brake setup is. That's all gonna go away. And the steering is up front here. So I'm gonna remove the steering box and that great big mount that they got for it, and I'm going to take all this wiring and kind of put it in a bag, clean it all up, and I'm going to scrape as much by hand, and then I'm going to pressure wash it and use oven cleaner and all that good stuff. And see, this is how the electronics are mounted, so I'm going to take that off, and then I'll probably just move that right to the firewall. Still left the cruise control on. Not sure if I'm going to keep that. I have an abundance of extra wiring because the batteries were back here. And oh, I checked the gear ratio, 456, and I turn the one set of duals and the other side turns the same direction with it, so I'm assuming that's a posi traction, and I did some burnouts with it. And it's a 4-tire fire. I guess the best news of this whole thing was I was moderately satisfied with the way it was running. It sounded a little off. It still did good burnouts, but I noticed this guy was never even on. So she's going to run better when it gets all 8 cylinders compared to 7. And yeah. Well, I'm going to have at her and strip some of this down and get her cleaned up. I'll show you what it looks like when I'm finished. All right, the old cab swap is well underway. We got the 54 cab sitting on the chassis now. We got the chassis all ready. We got a pretty smoky morning out here today. This is what's going on. We got the Willies hard at work here doing what it's supposed to do. Got my bicycle out, went for a little tear with the dog, which is a good thing. Are you tired? This gen pole setup works pretty slick. So here we go. We got the 54 sitting on the chassis. The whole cab has to move forward. We've got a little valve cover to firewall clearance issue there. But other than that, everything looks like it's going to work out all right. I'm going to have to move some stuff around on this frame. That front bracket, gusset, I'm going to take it out, move it back, and then I'm going to trim the frame up a little bit. But as I fix the firewall, everything will move forward. Got the running board just kind of mocked up. And yeah, I think it's going to be pretty good. I'm hoping that box is going to fit on there the way I have anticipated. And yeah, we did a lot of work on this chassis. It's all cleaned up nice. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what this thing looks like with the box. So yeah, that's basically her. I sure have a lot of room in the front. I'm going to put bigger wheels and tires on, but this is what I'm going to use for now to mock everything up. And let's get that truck box on here. All right, here we go. We got the cab and the box roughly mounted on the chassis and seeing how she fits. It's not so bad. Still got quite a bit of work left in front of us, but yeah, I'm gonna get bigger wheels, bigger tires, and it's just gonna step that whole thing right up. So yeah, it's not so bad. Tires, actually, I was gonna modify the full fenders, but I think it looks a little bit greasy when it's just sticking out a little bit. I think there'll be enough room. I like the way it looks from the back. Build bumpers. That'll make or break this whole thing. They're going to be nice. If I have to build them 10 times, I will make sure they suit this setup. So yeah, that side's good. The other fender's got a cutout for it. I'm not a big fan. I'm gonna have to redo that. I'm gonna do a little bit of a tub in there, depending on what I get for wheels, rims, and tires. We'll see how much tubbing and fender modifying we're gonna have to do. Yeah, I think she's coming along pretty good. Pretty good. I'm gonna use these leather Eddie Bauers. I just like how simple everything is. On the inside, glass will probably be a couple of bucks to get that all squared away. The interior, it'll be good. And let's have a look under the hood. A little bit of straightening to do there. See a little bit of a crunch, but good old steel. So, oh, there we go. Dual snorkel 440. Plenty of room. Got to do a little bit. You can see the valve covers touching the firewall. So I'm going to modify that so I can move the cab up another inch or two just to get it perfect. Yeah, there she is. 1954 Dodge job rated, sitting on a 1-ton mini Winnie chassis. So I'm going to get this thing wired and fired, and I enjoyed taking this thing for a ride.